Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. Today is another experiment on a tutorial build. So naturally, if you come for the tutorial, you're very welcome to mute this video if you don't want to hear me talk about it. But this is kind of a follow-up video for an older video I made showing off my M4 Sherman turret. That was my new tank destroyer long gun variant of it. That's the T-23 turret, I believe it's called. I was due to do a tutorial on it because I had showed it off and wanted to get a chance to show people how to build it if they're interested in building it for my my Sherman model. But I had to make some few small tweaks and changes to kind of the turret that I had originally, and I had to kind of redo that video. So this is actually a two-part tutorial in itself. This is kind of a revamp of kind of both of my turret designs at the same time. So on top of being the T-23 turret tutorial, it is actually another sort of a remake of a quicker tutorial to show how to build my original Sherman turret, which is the 75mm, like the bunker buster gun. It starts with this right here, which I'm building currently. I'm building it in small chunks, as you may notice, instead of putting each individual piece on. I'm trying to find a way to show my tutorials more educationally so that I can show off some like make the videos faster and show off more building with less time to save everyone's time for me producing it so I can make more tutorials and for people watching so it's not so much a waste. I get that it's a little bit fast, but you can thoroughly watch this video and you can figure out exactly how this is built. It's not that hard, but I wanted to get a chance to show it thoroughly to the best of my ability. So like I said, what I'm building right here is kind of what I call sort of my Sherman turret main core. It's kind of just the main section of it, and it's actually interchangeable, believe it or not, because I took my original Sherman core and for the turret and I modified it for the long gun variant, which meant that since it was just a changed version of the original one, it wasn't such a big deal. But the actual model in itself was so similar that I didn't want to have to rebuild the entire turret, if that makes any sense. So this core, this one that I'm showing right now, that's done right there, is the finished version of the actual core piece, which is the same, and then the variants come off of that. So this is the tutorial everyone was asking for. This is for the 76W turret, the T-23, which was the one that I had showed off earlier. But you can use the core twice here, and you'll see how I kind of did that with interchangeable pieces on the back and then on the sides and then like the mantlet and then like the top cap. I kind of show how you make those two different versions of those accessories, so to speak, that go on the intrinsic core. So I didn't have to rebuild another tutorial for no reason to kind of remake something that's already been shown off. I try to save my time and other people's time when it comes to it and not be too redundant if I can help it. So this is kind of like my my two-in-one thorough Sherman turret video. Just trying to be as concise as I can, I imagine. So as you can see, it's a little bit different. For anyone who watched my Sherman build tutorials, and the bits that went over the turret were very complicated, so I tried to whittle it down and make it as easy as I could with what I was been given. This is like I said, the T-23, the long gun variant, and it has more of like an alien shape to it. I had to kind of offset some bricks on the side there to get the shape that I wanted. It obviously has a different sort of recurve mantlet that is a little bit different than the other one that's more rounded. Like I said, the end of this video kind of covers the build of the other turret again. So on top of this new tutorial, it's kind of a fresh take on my other tutorial for my my other turret, which is kind of nice. A way to make it kind of more concise and not have to make it so complex. And obviously I'm trying out stuff with the new lamp, and I'm trying some new stuff with the audio, and I'm trying a couple different things to kind of improve it. So hopefully to just kind of improve my YouTube videos as they are and make them somewhat more watchable so that they're not too terrible. But like I said, you're always welcome to mute these if you'd prefer to just watch the tutorial. And I understand that it's fast, but I should have all the information you should need to be able to, gather some pieces together and give this a try if you'd like. That would be kind of my hope, is to be able to sort of just spread that around to the best of my ability. This one is almost finished. The top is fairly complex. It's not it's not impossible to build, but it's trickier. I kind of just slowed it down a little bit here to just sort of show people what it was instead of like putting chunks together, because you can kind of pause the video and look at different times that there are different things that can be done and different things that can be changed. A lot of the pieces are interchangeable too. If you've seen any of the other pictures I've taken, a lot of the features are interchangeable, and I like that about this build, to try to make it not as complex. And to sort of keep it in a more of a simplistic style. I had a couple people comment too on kind of the fact that the back of this specific turret variant is a little bit chunkier than the other ones, which I personally kind of like. I kind of like I've mentioned before, I like to build in kind of a retro Lego style and use it kind of to the best of the Lego's ability, and realize that like Lego is the medium of art in which I'm trying to interpret these shapes. So for it to be a little chunky in the back is kind of fun for me. I kind of like that because I get that it was supposed to be smoother, kind of like that. But I do get that other people might want to make it smoother, and we'll probably end up doing that anyway. So, which is no big deal. I would encourage people to build this and to kind of evolve on it and grow. So this is the beginning, kind of, as you can see, of the 75 shotgun variant. As you can see, the core that I used to start with is the same one from the beginning. So that tutorial at the very beginning of this video works for both of these turrets, which is pretty cool. I thought it was nice to sort of keep that concise because it was so complex kind of any other way. It's a little bit of it's actually, the core is kind of modified and updated a little bit to make the building of this turret a little bit more simple too. Obviously, there's some interchangeable pieces if you'd like to. And then the colored pieces, as you can tell, along with some of the white ones, but mostly the colored pieces are the ones that will be hidden and don't have to be any specific color. I mean, obviously, you can do this all different kinds of colors and any way you want, even if you wanted a rainbow Sherman or you wanted a camouflage Sherman or any of the other things you wanted. So, but this one really warranted an updated tutorial just because I built the other variant and I wanted to keep this one concise and kind of do my best to sort of make those changes. So as you can see, like the little mantlet bits are the same on the core, but then you can change them with those little cheese wedges and stuff too. So I have been trying to think about how I'm going to do this too, sort of for my Panzer IV, because I actually made a couple of changes to my Panzer IV early tank, the medium, that might need to warrant its own video too. I'm considering that also. Kind of going down the line and doing some stuff. I've been working a lot, as people may have seen, on my minifigure collection, and trying to make more of those guys too, because like I've been doing a lot of like World War I builds and World War I collection videos and stuff too, which those don't really warrant as many vehicles, so I haven't really had time to work on my Sherman or some of my other tank variants, though I'd still like to be able to do that. And I've got some new printed tiles for my tanks too I'd like to use, so I'll probably try to do that sometime soon, but mostly it's all the same. The top of this is a little bit different, as you can see. Made a couple little changes. The pieces don't have to be as complex as you'd like them to be, but they can kind of be just sort of whatever you want, whatever works to sort of cover that space. But this is the way that it worked out for me. And then I have the hatch, which I couldn't manage, as I mentioned before, couldn't manage to get to be a double hatch, but the hatch is the same on both of them too. It's pretty easy to build. Not so bad, but all this is pretty obvious. And I did do a build of that little 50 caliber gun that I made. That was on my original Sherman video, kind of back in the day. So yeah, those are the two turret variants. These are what they look like on the hull of the Sherman. Obviously, it's the same hull that I used twice because it's all interchangeable. It's an A3, I think. This is the T23 variant, sort of the tank killer with the long gun. It doesn't have a muzzle brake, as I mentioned before in another video, because that's not the variant that I happened to build. I think it looks pretty concise, though. My tank right now has a crew of 4, which is pretty neat. Here's the 75, obviously. It's got a crew of 4. I can fit 4 guys in it. There's actually currently 4 guys in this picture, which you can't tell, but it's kind of fun. I was able to do that also, which was pretty neat. So it's kind of just building the collection, building the repertoire, and I really like this Sherman build. I'm really proud of it. It's kind of sort of a magnum opus for my channel, and it was a cool thing to feature, and it's nice to be able to get a chance to show off the different variations, and I'd still like to do a bulldozer and a crab and a bunch of the other fun stuff. So that's all for me today. This is just this video, and I hope people enjoy it, and I hope they have a good time trying out and building it. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.